Today I am taking you guys through one of Fort Collins' most desirable areas, the west side of Fort Collins, right next to Old Town and City Park, which is right here. If you have ever strolled these streets under these giant shaded trees, if you've walked your dogs past these Victorian looking homes or biked into Old Town for dinner, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know exactly why these homes go so fast, because this area is so incredible. Locals flock to this area. And if you are new here or thinking about making a move to Fort Collins or Colorado in general, this little pocket is pure magic and just so stunning. So today, let's dive into the history, the homes, the lifestyle that comes in living in the north side of Fort Collins, and what it's really like to plant your roots here. I'm Sophia Kathol, and I am your Colorado realtor, and I would love to help you and your family make the move here to Colorado. And whether that's 9 days or 90 days, feel free to reach out. You can call, text, email, book a Zoom call through my calendar link, and I would love to help you and your family. Before we get into it, I really want to set the scene for you guys. So I am located on Magnolia Street right now. Across from me is City Park, and City Park has so much to offer. They have Sheldon Lake, where you can paddleboard on the lake. There's a little swim beach. There's a ton of grass area for you to have picnics. There's parks. There's City 9 golf course. They also have City Park pool where you can go in the summer. And then to the north of me, you have Old Town Fort Collins. And if you don't know anything about Old Town, you're gonna need to research it, because Old Town is so stinking cute. There's so much for you to do here. And Old Town is maybe 3 blocks away from us, so you were super close. You could walk, you could bike, you could take your dogs there with you. So that's a really awesome part about this location, is you are close to so many things, and I think that is the #1 reason why people want to live in these surrounding neighborhoods, is because you are so close to the action. So as I stated, I am on Magnolia Street, right across from City Park, and this part of Fort Collins has some of the oldest neighborhoods in town, and these homes are just, they're just amazing. I would love to live here. We're talking homes that date back to the 1800s and the early 1900s. Many of them are still standing with their original details, and this right here is one. It has beautiful brick on it. It's amazing. I love the peak. One fun fact is Old Town Fort Collins itself was platted in 1866. And the designer Harper Goff later used these very streets as inspiration for Disneyland's Main Street USA, which is why when you walk around this area, it almost feels like a movie set. This neighborhood, downtown Fort Collins, it truly doesn't feel real. One of the biggest draws about living in West Fort Collins here is the architecture. You're gonna find Victorian style homes with big wraparound porches and stained glasses. This one's a little modern. You have craftsman bungalows with deep front porches again, and a ton of exposed beams. I'm gonna see if I can find one and point that out. Then you have the American Foursquare that's a little more boxy, a little bit more practical with tons of charm, and that's sort of what this house looks like right here. It looks like it was newly renovated. Not sure what that one looks like on the inside, but that one's a little bit more modern. Plus you have the mid-century or modern infill that blends right in. For example, this one blends in right next to this one. But look at all these trees, you guys, and all this grass. It's so beautiful. But here's the thing, these homes are not cookie cutter. You're not gonna see any type of cookie cutter here. Each one tells a huge story. Inside you're gonna see original wood flooring. They have clawfoot tubs. There's a ton of quirky built-ins, and sometimes even carriage houses in the alley. Holy smokes, you guys, this one is so beautiful. You have that arch, you have the brick. You just do not see homes built like this anymore. If this home ever hits the market right here, this home is gonna be well over $2 million easily, just because of the history itself, the land that comes with it, and how close you are to Old Town. Living on the west side of town basically means you're in the center of everything. You're so centrally located to everything, which is amazing. Plus you are super close to the mountains. Oh, look at the leaves falling. You can walk or bike to Old Town Square in minutes for coffee. There's a ton of live music that goes down. Saturdays they have farmers market. Me and my fiance love to just go down there and people watch. I could do that every single day. City Park is also right here. I've mentioned this multiple times. It's Fort Collins' version of Central Park in New York. You have paddle boats on Sheldon Lake. There's big grassy fields for concerts or fireworks, playgrounds, and a ton of space just to hang out. I think families just love going to City Park and just relaxing. Plus, they have some workout equipment right over here. Plus, if you are into football, you have CSU's stadium very close by, as well as CSU itself. So it's very lively over here. There's a ton of energy, but it's not crazy, which I like. And the food, you guys, there's breweries, there's bakeries, there's brunch spots, there's coffee shops, literally all around you guys. You really don't need to drive if you don't want to. My all-time favorite brunch spot. You can go here for dinner, coffee, drinks, but I love their brunch. It's called Ginger and Baker, and it's all the way on the north side of Old Town, so you gotta go all the way to the end, but it wouldn't take you long to get there from City Park. And so that's also a huge perk, is if you are into food or if you work from home but you like to get out, this would be a really great location for you because you're so close to everything. If you want to go work at a coffee shop, just take your bike, go to a coffee shop. You're really close to it all. We're coming up on Oak Street, but this is a beautiful Spanish style looking home. It's yellow, deep oranges. It's really beautiful. And then you have this one with this amazing chimney right here. So there's just so much different architecture here, and no home is the same. And honestly, what I love most about this side of town is just how neighborly it feels. I'm out here filming a video and I've had so many people come up to me and just chat with me. You walk down the street and people are waving to you. In the mornings, you got folks out walking their dogs. There's kids biking to school. There's people jogging around City Park. There is just always people outside. So it's very, very lively out here. And then by the afternoon, people are sitting on their front porches. They're drinking their beers. They're just hanging out. They're maybe having a charcuterie board, and they're literally stopped to chat with whoever walks by. And I love that, and I think nowadays that's so hard to find. It's just good people who just want to have a good conversation. I would say it has that old school vibe you don't really get in the newer neighborhoods. I think in the newer neighborhoods, everyone is so hustle and bustle culture, but when you get into this side of town, it's a little bit more slower pace of life in those ways. And there's a mix of people here that makes it even better. You have whole families, obviously, with tons of kids. They've been here forever. Their grandparents lived in these same houses. Then you've got younger families. The parents are in tech maybe. They're moving here because they want their kids to grow up biking to City Park or running through the splash pad in Old Town Square. They just want their kids to grow up somewhere more laid back and chill and safe. And then there's the young professionals. You have the CSU grads. There's people who work remotely who just love that you can walk to brunch. And then you can go hit a brewery and still be home within 5 minutes. I think that's very, very attractive. I'm actually helping a family right now, and they're moving up a few streets, and that was their main reason. They wanted to rollerblade to town. So it's very desirable. It's also very laid back, but there's always something going on. People take care of their yards, and it's just so pretty. I mean, there's so much mature landscaping. They have gardening. They're swapping veggies over the fence to their neighbors. They're stringing up lights on their porches. It's just a very, very cute vibe. This one right here is like log cabin-y. That is so cute. I love that. And then one of my favorite stories is there was this family that I helped relocate here from California. We bought them, or I didn't buy them, they bought it. They bought a Craftsman home on Magnolia, a few streets up, and within 2 weeks their neighbors had invited them over for a barbecue, and by the end of the month their kids were hanging out. They were riding their bikes around the neighborhood. They had them over for drinks. So that's just how it feels here. It's just very community driven. Everyone loves everybody. That's not something you find everywhere. And then when you have some of the bigger things happen, like concerts at City Park or the fireworks on 4th Street or a festival downtown, this area totally comes alive, you guys. Everyone comes out. of their homes. Everyone walks down together, and it just feels like the heartbeat of Fort Collins, and that's one of the main reasons why people move here. And you want to know another reason why this area is so desirable? Because Colorado is growing so much. We have so many new developments going up all around Colorado, especially in the Fort Collins area, Fort Collins, Loveland, Windsor. Everything is newer developments, and so they don't make homes like this anymore. They don't have neighborhoods with these mature trees and the mature landscaping, and so that is why these areas are so popular, because you get beautiful homes that have so much character that you just cannot buy new anymore, especially in Colorado. So I'm curious on where you live. Do homes look like this, or are they a little bit more cookie cutter? Drop a comment below, and I would love to know where you're from, what the homes look like. Let's talk home prices, because I know that's very important, especially if you're thinking about making a move to Colorado. So zooming out for a second, the median home price in Fort Collins sits just roughly around $600,000, just give or take, obviously depending on the area, but $600,000 is a median home price here, and that's for the whole city. But the deal is, on the west side near Old Town City Park, you are going to pay a good hefty penny for this location because it's so desirable. It's part of history, it's the location you're paying for, and just that walk everywhere type of lifestyle you are going to pay for. Look at this little bungalow right here, that little tree hut, that is so cute. So in this neighborhood, you'll typically see homes anywhere from, hear me out, from the mid 600s. You can even get into the 500s depending on the home. And that's for a very small cottage, 2-bed, anywhere from like 800 square feet to maybe 1,200 square feet, or maybe just a place that needs some love. And then for those bigger, more desirable homes, I would expect anywhere from $1.2 million and up for those bigger Victorians or fully restored historic homes that everybody falls in love with. How could you not? Oh my god, this one is so cute as well. So we just passed Olive Street, and for example, a home just sold on Olive Street, it was $747,000, and that one was about 1,500 square feet. And another one on Magnolia went for around $1.28 million. So that's the kind of spread you're looking at here. Obviously, this home is going to be a lot cheaper than a bigger 4,000 square foot brick Victorian home. But one thing to keep in mind is homes here move very fast. Old Town averages about 3 weeks on market, give or take, so inventory in this area is very tight. So when a good one pops up, people really jump on it, and so that can be hard for people that live out of state. So feel free to reach out to me, and what I like to do is, if you're not in state, I'll go and preview a property. We'll get on a FaceTime call, or I will take a video and send it your way. That way you do not miss out on a home. So if you're thinking about this area, just keep in mind you're not just buying square footage, you're buying into the character, you're buying into the community, the mature landscaping, and the fact that you can literally walk to coffee, brunch, you can walk to City Park or Old Town Square, and that is truly why this pocket of town, the west side of Fort Collins, is so desirable. Back in 1870s, Franklin Avery is the same guy who helped lay out the town site, and he had this vision of extra wide streets. These streets are very wide, and that's why you see these big roomy boulevards that could handle those horse drawn carriages back then, and now they're lined with these amazing trees, massive shade. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than this. It gives this whole side of town a much slower, more timeless vibe. I'm filming this in October, but in the summer you have this full green canopy overhead. They're still pretty green. It almost feels like a tunnel of leaves when you drive or bike down these main roads on Magnolia or Olive Street. But in the fall, like I said, it's October right now, it's totally next level. The leaves haven't changed all the way yet, but there's going to be yellows, oranges, reds, just absolutely everywhere. Like, imagine right in here, that's going to be so pretty. People literally take family photos under these trees because it's that beautiful. I want to come take any photos right now. I want to bring my dogs over here. And then in the winter, the branches collect the snow and frame the historic homes like something out of a postcard. It's truly beautiful. I'm going to see if I can find some photos that I can attach. That way you can sort of see what I'm talking about. And it's not just the trees that I'm talking about. Obviously the landscaping feels so much different than a newer built community. I mean, as you guys know, new built communities don't really have landscaping. So you're gonna see these front yards that have gardens. They're bursting with a ton of flowers like this home right here. There's small little picket fences, and yeah, like this one just has so much garden. It's just so cute and so unique. You don't see that every day. Every yard feels like it has its own personality. That's the exact way I would explain it. Every yard has its own personality. And I truly think that the mix of historic homes with the mature landscaping, it honestly gives the area its charm. You don't feel like you're in a subdivision. You feel like you're in a neighborhood that has been loved for many, many years. And I would love to end up here one day. And I can already tell you that if you decide to move to the west side of Fort Collins, you will not be disappointed either. After walking the streets, I'm so curious on what you think. We are in City Park right now, and remember that Old Town Fort Collins that has the coffees, restaurants, breweries, they have concerts, they truly have everything, is literally just a few blocks away, so you are very, very close to everything. You're close to CSU, the CSU football stadium. It literally has everything, so I'm just curious if you would picture yourself in this area. I'm curious on what you think of the homes, the architecture, the landscaping. It's absolutely beautiful, and I promise you guys that the value here is only going to keep going up. These areas are going to be so much more desirable in 5-10 years. If you can get in now, I promise you guys that would be a good plan. Set your family up for success. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sophia Kathol, and I would love to help you and your family make the move to Fort Collins, Colorado. You can call, you can email, text, you can even book a Zoom call through a calendar link, and I would really love to help you and your family see if this town would be a good fit for you or not. And remember, if you're thinking about moving in 9 days or 90 days, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this is your first time on the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I would love to hear from you. Hope you guys have a good day. Bye!